status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette. Yeah, riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stroke, we ain't with all that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Made $1 million and I can't go back. Got a lot of jewelry on me, man, can't hold that. So ask him better, tell him that I ain't so crack. Know your money long when your people can't afford that. I'm ballin', yeah. My mama told me that did my calling. I keep that stick, I don't do no brawling. Open out the doors and let them all in here. Yeah, they all in here. Ooh, big dog. We come out the pound, so we big dog. Heavy paddock on me, break my wrist off. I'm young out of rocket, about to lift off. 3, 2, 1, I got big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette. Yeah, riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stroke, we ain't with all that. Yeah, big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette. Yeah, riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stroke, we ain't with all that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jigs, fall in line. Yeah, we got sticks like it's Columbine. Yeah, running up the dollar signs. Yeah, ain't no hiding from them hollow cans. Yeah, bring up like the Taliban. That's my paper, don't you bottom mine. Yeah, heavy paddock on me, break my wrist off. Yeah, lift off. I got big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette. Yeah, riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stroke, we ain't with all that. Yeah, big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette. Yeah, riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stroke, we ain't with all that. Yeah. Big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette. Yeah, riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stroke, we ain't with all that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Made $1 million and I can't go back. Got a lot of jewelry on me, man, can't hold that. So ask him better, tell him that I ain't so crack. Know your money long when your people can't afford that. I'm ballin', yeah. My mama told me that did my calling. I keep that stick, I don't do no brawling. Open out the doors and let them all in here. Yeah, they all in here. Ooh, big dog. We come out the pound, so we big dog. Heavy paddock on me, break my wrist off. I'm young out of rocket, about to lift off. 3, 2, 1, I got big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette. Yeah, riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stroke, we ain't with all that. Yeah, big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette. Yeah, riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stroke, we ain't with all that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jigs, fall in line. Yeah, we got sticks like it's Columbine. Yeah, running up the dollar signs. Yeah, ain't no hiding from them hollow cans. Yeah, bring up like the Taliban. That's my paper, don't you bottom mine. Yeah, heavy paddock on me, break my wrist off. Yeah, lift off. I got big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette. Yeah, riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a status, I'm a big dog, bet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette, yeah. Riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stoker, we ain't with all that, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Made $1 million and I can't go back. Got a lot of jewelry on me, man, you can't hold that. 12 ask him better, tell him that I ain't so crack. Know your money long when your people can't afford that. I'm ballin', yeah. My mama told me that did my calling. I keep that stick, I don't do no brawling. Open out the doors and let them all in here. Yeah, they all in here. Big dog, we come out the pound, so we big dog. Heavy paddock on me, break my wrist off. I'm young out of rocket, about to lift off. 3, 2, 1, I got big dog status, I'm a big dog, bet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette, yeah. Riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stoker, we ain't with all that, yeah. Big dog status, I'm a big dog, bet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette, yeah. Riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stoker, we ain't with all that, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jigs, fall in line. Yeah. We got sticks like a Columbine. Yeah. Running up the dollar signs. Yeah. Ain't no hiding from them hollow cans. Yeah. Bring up like the Taliban. That's my paper, don't you bottom mine. Yeah. Heavy paddock on me, break my wrist off. Yeah. Lift off. I got big dog status, I'm a big dog, bet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette, yeah. Riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stoker, we ain't with all that, yeah. Big dog status, I'm a big dog, bet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette, yeah. Riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stoker, we ain't with all that, yeah. Big dog status, I'm a big dog, bet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette, yeah. Riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stoker, we ain't with all that, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Made $1 million and I can't go back. Got a lot of jewelry on me, man, you can't hold that. 12 ask him better, tell him that I ain't so crack. Know your money long when your people can't afford that. I'm ballin', yeah. My mama told me that did my calling. I keep that stick, I don't do no brawling. Open out the doors and let them all in here. Yeah, they all in here. Big dog, we come out the pound, so we big dog. Heavy paddock on me, break my wrist off. I'm young out of rocket, about to lift off. 3, 2, 1, I got big dog status, I'm a big dog, bet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette, yeah. Riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stoker, we ain't with all that, yeah. Big dog status, I'm a big dog, bet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette, yeah. Riding around the field with a stick all black. Try with a stoker, we ain't with all that, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jigs, fall in line. Yeah. We got sticks like a Columbine. Yeah. Running up the dollar signs. Yeah. Ain't no hiding from them hollow cans. Yeah. Bring up like the Taliban. That's my paper, don't you bottom mine. Yeah. Heavy paddock on me, break my wrist off. Yeah. Lift off. I got big dog status, I'm a big dog, bet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette, yeah. Riding around the field with a stick.
Okay, and then P5 mic. blah 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 blah. Okay, my bad. Now, okay, 3, 2, 1. Hello, hello everybody. Welcome to the PryoVanguard debates, trivia, everything all above, everything geeky, nerdy that we are geeking out of. You get the gist. Anyway, hello, I'm Azula. I'm joined by all these lovely fans of Star Wars, as you know, because we're going to be doing trivia about Star Wars, and yeah, we're going to be doing trivia and debates about Star Wars, asking the important questions, and yeah. So before we start off the trivia questions and test like who really is the biggest Star Wars fan here, I think we should introduce ourselves first. So I'll go first. Hello, again, I am Azula. I'm from PryoVanguard, and I really like Poe. Yeah, I really like Poe. That's my thing. Justin, you want to go?
Yes, I'm Justin, also part of PryoVanguard. My favorite character is probably Kit Fisto. I love those tentacles, yeah. That's it.
Fair enough. Clip it.
Okay.
Clip it. I'm joking. Casualty, you wanna go?
Yeah. My name is Casualty here on the internet, but my name is actually Ellie. So, hi. My favorite Star Wars character is Ahsoka Tano.
Nice. Mid, you wanna go?
Yes, of course. Hello, I am Midro, and my favorite thing from Star Wars, if I can bring him over here, is this little guy, Commander Bly.
Nice. Wait, can you bring it up a bit closer to the camera? Let's see.
Oh yeah, I'll bring him a little closer.
That's all
Nice. Also, hello Tenoche, the king is here. Hello. Also from PryoVanguard, check him out, guys. Sophian, do you wanna go next?
My name is Suf, and I really like Force Unleashed. Not the second one, just the first one was pretty good. The second one was I think it's a good thing he's not canon anymore.
Fair enough. Oh, we have some. You can see like the future of the debates that's going to happen, and last but not least, our sibling cousins over at Geeks of the Week. Let's go introduce ourselves.
Who's on this end? As we are the Geeks of the Week. My name is Eli, and my favorite Star Wars character is Kanan Jarrus. Or Caleb Doom, you pick. But him.
I'm Clementine, another member of the Geeks of the Week. I've got two favorite characters. Kanan is one of them, and Ahsoka is the other.
And I'm Luis. I'm the newest member of Geeks of the Week, and I love a more basic choice, but Boba Fett. I love his character design. Can't go wrong.
To be fair, I don't think I've met anyone that's like hated Boba Fett or like just not a fan of Boba Fett. So yeah, heck yeah.
I've seen a few subreddits that, but it's more their piss take subreddits, but they don't like him very much.
Fair enough. Kanan mentioned, heck yeah. So I think once we've done the introductions, let's start the trivia. So we've set up this on Kahoot. And yeah. Justin's
make sure you guys don't leave the you have to stay on the thing because if you come out, we'll kick you out. Because I think okay, cool, yeah. Make sure you don't leave the tab.
Cool. Is everybody in?
Yep.
Okay, let's go, Justin.
Is my face frozen? Because if so, I'm gonna remove my.
No, you were fine.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all good. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think move,
okay,
so you can still see us. Yeah. Thank you.
Am I frozen now though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See.
You can pause your camera here, and then.
I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
You can turn off your camera here, and then you can turn it back on when we do the debates, because I'll share my screen then.
Yeah.
Cool. So Justin has made this lovely quiz. So it's not me this time. Let's go.
Justin made it.
Yeah, this is my knowledge. So let's see if you guys are.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you ready? Someone just left.
Someone left. Oh, Clem. Can you move the cameras? Move the camera, please. Thank you.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
I'm excited. It's my first time doing it properly.
I'm sorry.
I'm back in school, guys. How many years take place between Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and Episode 6, A New Hope? How many years? 19, 24, 17, or 22? Oh, 4. My bad. Sorry.
Oh.
I just purely guess. I actually don't know.
I feel like this is wrong. But...
Oh, I was so close. I was so close.
No one pressed. No one put it.
I was like, oh no.
Didn't come on screen. It was just
because Anakin spends 22 years in the dark and 22 years in the light. So it can't be 22 and it can't be 24.
No, yeah, because Luke Skywalker's 19 in number 4.
That too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Huh?
No, it's 19. It's 19. I did my research. Okay. Okay, next
you
one.
fact checked it.
Who's winning? Who's winning?
No one. We all got it wrong. That's not a hot start, guys.
Fake fans, all of us.
Wait, hang on a minute.
False.
Oh. Wait, hang on. Are we taking legends into canon or?
That's
like,
what I'm saying. It's a very.
No, this is canon. This is off. Come on,
yeah, of course.
This is rogue.
This is
canon.
False. Ooh, I finally got something right.
No, she did. She actually survived. She did survive. No, she didn't. She didn't.
No, she didn't. They got me the quiz, yeah. I'm joking.
No, she dies by a Grievous. She dies by Anakin, and then she also dies by Starkiller. So like, I don't know anymore.
No, it's Anakin. Anakin kills her.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Grievous thing was a deleted scene. It wasn't. That's not canon.
I think it's more canon that she dies by Anakin because of that vision, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh, Clem.
Exactly.
Clem
Yeah, Yoda sees the vision in Clone Wars. So.
Yeah.
1 point behind each other.
Wait, just before you go to the next one. Oh, okay, never mind. After. No, right? What was Finn's original name? Oh god. Oh. No, I know this. No, I know this.
Come on, guys. Come on.
As a Finn shipper, come on now. No, I actually got that wrong.
I need the screen to change because I can't see it.
I got it right.
I'm joking. I knew that.
Who got it wrong?
You prick Yellow. Somebody here, I'm looking at you.
I couldn't see it.
Hold up, bro. Hold up.
Anything. That's why.
It's been a while.
Ooh. Wait, guys. Who's Darth Crizicious?
Me. I'm him.
Yeah, I am him. Love that.
Okay.
I'm black.
Geeks of the week on top, guys. I'm close.
This
What planet did Luke Skywalker train with
This is
Yoda?
easy.
Okay.
Come on.
The last, guys, it's the last one. It's definitely the last one. It's so the last one. Guys, it's the last one. It's the last one. I mean, come on.
Yo, he bake them. He said Hoth.
How do you see who?
Bro, I couldn't see the question.
No, you don't. I don't think so.
Coming up as like just green.
I picked it in the dark. I couldn't see it.
Bro, to be enough.
I'm still third.
Mid is not on the scoreboard.
Oof.
Oh no.
It's so painful.
Pre-Disney. Oh, like Disney Plus. Oh no, I got it wrong.
I messed up.
I got it right.
Oh wait, what?
Yeah, they did. It did.
Oh really?
Yeah.
It was a Legends creation, and then they added it into Disney. But it was very different. But yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you had the Old Republic.
Oh, I'm getting there.
It's okay.
Clem, I'm coming for you.
Azula.
I'm coming for you, Clem. I see. Which of these Jedi were never part of the Jedi Council?
This should be easy.
It's just frozen on my end. What the hell?
Oh, I don't know actually.
It's frozen on my end. Oh god, no.
Just have to guess.
No excuses. Come on, this is easy.
Oh god.
Oh, okay.
If I knew it, I picked and then I knew. I looked. I was like, damn it.
Oh.
It was Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah.
It was better members premise. How are you gonna ask us that question?
I dropped so far.
You could have
I
done
didn't
it
get it right.
Anakin.
Tips hat. What year did Disney purchase Star Wars?
Are you serious?
Well, officially or?
When they paid the cash.
When they physically handed over the suitcase of cash. They said, here.
I knew it.
Wait,
I knew it. I was
yes.
gonna go for that.
When in doubt, bro.
In doubt.
It was
She
2012.
said when in doubt, pick Luke.
Bro, I remember the end of Clone Wars. I remember the end of 1313.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Azula.
Guys, screenshot this.
Okay.
Screenshot it.
No.
Clip it. Clip it.
Enjoy for now.
Come on, guys. 2 questions left.
MJ fans spotted Fuzzball and Skeleton Crew, but do you know which project he originally appeared in with the King of Pop?
Oh,
Oh?
What? What?
George Lucas made this, and it's like,
I'm
yeah,
guessing.
it's part
I'm
of Star
guessing.
Wars
I'm
canon,
guessing.
kind of.
Oh? I've never.
There's no MJ fans here. Where's Ellis when you need him?
No one go.
I've never heard that before. Okay, okay.
Captain, you should watch it. It's really, really good. George Lucas made it. Captain EO.
I guess he's on top. Oh my god. Oh my god. Sorry, I hate that. I hate that. Which Jedi Masters revealed to have survived Order 66 and later appears in Obi-Wan Kenobi as part of the Path Network? Let's go. I don't know.
I feel like everybody's
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
I'm cooked.
Oh!
Yes. Nice, nice, nice.
I'm glad that everyone could see the answers.
My thing froze for a second, but I had it.
Eli is back on top.
Let's go.
Last question.
Oof. Is it double one? I knew it! I called it!
Brother.
What was the name of the first stormtrooper to become a Jedi? Legends. Oh shoot.
It wasn't
okay.
Finn. It wasn't Finn.
Wait.
Who was that character?
I wanna say... I don't know, I don't think I
mine
got that
was
right. Hey Erica!
Are you gonna have
Nice.
legends?
Okay,
Are you gonna
okay,
have
okay,
legends?
okay.
Are you gonna
Nice.
have legends
Kyle.
to this,
Hi Erica!
Don't
Hope
play
you're
the
doing
Jedi
well.
Knight
Thanks for
game.
joining stream.
That was
Nice.
a game.
bro? You're
Nice.
gonna add legends to this, bro. Anyways,
Mhm.
give me my flowers.
Ooh, third is Louis.
Louis.
Where's the video?
Second is Mid.
Miz.
And first,
Hey.
I'm gonna guess. Wait. Am I thinking? Wait,
I'll
think.
take a hoodie place
Oh,
for
congrats!
that. You know.
Eli
That's
is
okay.
the super fan of the day.
Super
Nice.
fan
You
of the
got
day.
this light work, bro. I even added legends.
You know
now,
what?
so-
You know what?
Like, no reaction.
The geeks have won.
The geeks won twice.
The geeks won twice.
Twice. Shoot. Okay. We need. I need to
Sorry.
step up our
With each
game.
round having 2 geeks on the leaderboard as well.
Wow.
Yeah, they're representing well.
Ooh, we gotta. I gotta.
I was gonna-
Wait. How do I
So I
move
can't get
this?
Star Wars tattoo and not place on the leaderboards.
We need
You
to.
said I don't mess with Star Wars.
So yeah, how do we? IDK Star Wars, but this is entertaining. Oh, I'm glad you think so. So, Erica in chat. Hello, Erica. So guys, we also have. Ooh, is it doing the things? Is it doing the things? So.
It looks so low quality.
We have some of our debates. So this is where we're going to like talk in depth about, you know, what we think about all these big questions. Justin and myself have provided said questions, and honestly, this is your time to speak. This is your time to like say your piece. You know, you know, Eli's been proved as the biggest Star Wars fan here, but maybe someone else can prove him wrong here. I don't know.
Impossible.
I guess so. Wait, if I do slideshow, okay, does that show the full thing like that? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that's high quality. Yeah.
That's high quality. Cool. So are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So I will read out the question and then
Okay.
do the thing. So, debate questions. The Star Wars sequel trilogy is irredeemable. What do we think? What do we think, guys?
Can I go first?
Yeah, Mid, go. Let's go.
Well, me.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see the screen. So who said they want to go first?
Oh, that was me.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I may be a little biased because so Force Awakens was the first one I watched in cinemas when I was around 12. I think 2017 is when it came out. Like I was 12. I think that the sequel trilogy, it's not irredeemable. It does a few things wrong, but I think that there's a lot of also really good things in it as well. I don't think Rey is as bad as people make her out to be, and I'm happy that the fan base don't hate her as much as they used to. I do think Finn being a Jedi was the biggest wasted potential in the entire series, and it was clearly like they were setting that up, like with how they were advertising Force Awakens. I just feel like they had his character arc in Force Awakens, and then they just didn't really know what to do with him.
Yeah.
Especially in Rise of Skywalker, they had this entire subplot where he was like, "Oh, I have to tell Rey something," and we just don't know what he wants to tell Rey. Like, it's never actually resolved in the end. Kylo Ren, I feel cool design, but I think unmasking him a lot was a really bad decision because it does kind of take away from the intimidation factor that he had in Force Awakens. But I do kind of like that they wanted to humanize him a lot more. I feel like it's not irredeemable because irredeemable would mean there's no redeeming qualities at all. But there are a lot of things that can be liked in the sequel trilogy, and I feel like a lot of fans really overreacted at the time. Especially like the biggest sticking point in The Last Jedi was how they treated Luke, because they made him like a jaded, like bitter old man. And like, it doesn't help that you had people like Sam Witwer come out and say like, oh, that's not how they should have treated him. But I feel like it made sense for his character to be like that. And I don't know, I feel like people were just too angry and like too like blinded by like, oh, the main character's a woman. Like, you had people calling it like woke, which was like shitty.
That's a whole nother thing. Yeah, gosh.
Yeah. And I feel like that just blinded people to like actually kind of looking at like the character development itself. Because it was good. I liked it because like not every like Jedi master can be like this like otherwise like, oh, I'm immediately gonna save the day. No, like it was different, and like it was a lot more unique. And we got badass Luke in The Mandalorian, so like everybody won at the end, like people who wanted to see him come back in his prime. But yeah, I feel like I can't call them irredeemable because irredeemable implies there's nothing good about them when there's a lot of good things to like.
That's true, that's true. Actually, Clem, I noticed you were agreeing earlier, but before that, Cat says meow. Meow.
Meow.
Anyway, meow. But Clem, you were agreeing earlier to what Rashid said, so speak your piece. Say your piece, you know?
I agree that obviously there are good qualities that make it irredeemable. Sorry, make it redeemable. Sorry.
Well, clip it. I'm joking.
Sorry. That make it redeemable, and I think what I enjoy about it probably isn't highlighted in the sequels themselves, but more show the heavy lifting that other shows do to make it enjoyable. Because on its own, I have more problems with the sequels than things I enjoy. I completely disagree. I know Eli agrees, but I completely disagree about Luke's trajectory in those sequels. Like, he's literally the guy who saved Darth Vader. Like, that's Space Hitler, do you know what I mean? And just for him to try and kill his own nephew, I will never be able to wrap my head around that. But the stuff with like Palpatine, you can see they are like setting it up in the spin-off shows like The Mandalorian and all of that. And I think it was definitely like, am I allowed to say bad words? It was definitely an arse pull, but the shows are doing a lot of hard work to fill in the space between that and make it a bit more plausible. Yeah. But on the whole, I just think that like Rey, it was just a reheated Luke Skywalker kind of story. So I don't have a problem with her in that sense. My problem became when she became some Nepo baby. I like the idea more that she was just like this random in the Star Wars universe. I really love that. And then when they were like Palpatine's granddaughter, I was like, oh, pack it up. We don't need any more Nepo babies in Star Wars. Like, the Force will do its work to balance things out. Just let her be a random from a dusty planet. Do you know what I mean? I think I agree with the bit about Kylo. He should have kept his mask on because he lost all his aura the moment he took his mask off.
He lost his aura. I love all the clippable quotes we can get from this. I can see all the reels in my head. But carry on.
I also like, I don't know how like real they are, but I read the like rumored alternate scripts for all those sequels, and I actually thought they were better than what we got, so that kind of added to my disappointment. It does seem like the writing does seem a bit washed, and like Sif mentioned, there are a lot of plot holes and loose ends that they don't tie up, so that kind of adds to my hatred. But yeah, if anyone else wants to speak, go ahead.
I mean, you said that Eli like disagreed with something that you said. Do you wanna fight each other on that? Maybe.
Oh, to be fair, it's not really much of a fight. I think it's like a 2-in-1 kind of point where like he tries to take out his nephew Ben. I don't agree with that. I definitely don't agree with that part, because at the point where he does that, he shouldn't be this jaded. However, at the point where he does meet Ray, it makes sense for him to be that, because he's spent all his training following the script, the text, and we've been knowing from the Old Republic, these guys don't know what they're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it only makes sense for him to be lost as well. But I don't agree that Luke, who saved Vader, would want to kill Ben. That bit doesn't make sense. But for him to not want to help out, or to be tired of, to not want to add Jedi influence into the rebellion makes sense because of all the wrong that the Jedi did to even get them in that place. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I get that.
So, yeah.
Does anyone else want to hop in here?
Yeah, I don't mind jumping in and saying, putting in my 2 pennies. But like, I would, the reason why I personally would also say that like the sequels, they're not irredeemable, because for me, when like I see, well, because I'm a Disney adult, guys.
No.
Horrible.
Oh no, I'm joking. No.
When I go to like Disney and stuff like that, and I see like little girls dressed up as Rey, like that's just something very, very special. And for me, well, I'm sure for a lot of us, because we're all roughly around the same age, we probably loved the prequels, but all the adults around us hated them and thought they were like the worst thing ever. And then obviously now we've grown up and it's a different story. That will happen to the people that grew up with Star Wars watching The Force Awakens. Because low-key, I love The Force Awakens when it came out in the cinema. I was excited to see Star Wars that isn't leading up to Order 66 and everything. I was like, oh, what's new? What's coming after? And then Palpatine returns and Rey's a Palpatine.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Okay.
Palpatine returned.
One thing about the Palpatine return.
One sec. I'll carry on and then you go. Yeah. Carry on.
And but yeah, so that's pretty much why I can't find it. Like, I think it's like, in terms of just, if you shut your brain off and forget everything about Star Wars, you can. I mean, it might just be me. I'm really easy pleased in the cinema, but when I sit down on the film, I'll be like, oh wow, that was fun. But then when I sit back afterwards, I'm like, information thinking, and I'm like, oh. But for the Force Awakens specifically, obviously we haven't had like anything Star Wars for like a hot minute. So going in there, it was beautifully like shot. Like the opening sequence, how Rey like just went over the, I forget what the things are called, but that was like insane. So things like that, that's still kind of maintained throughout Star Wars in that sense throughout the sequels. However, when you're a long-time fan and you're hearing all these little bits and bobs, like with Luke and everything, that's when you're like, But they might be non-enjoyable for me, but enjoyable for other people, and therefore I'll be like, yeah, okay, that could be redeemed because it means something to people of a different generation.
That's true. But I also think that just want to touch upon the fact that both you and Clem said you see things like online or like the alternate what could have been, and I feel that also, I mean, that obviously affects us, because like sometimes you want to go on Twitter and like look online and you somehow accidentally go into a spoiler, you see all these things, and I don't know, I think it's like hard to avoid, and wishing what could have been. What could have happened if Palpatine didn't return? Who knows? I don't know, but I'm not sure. But Soph, you wanted to say something about that?
So with the Palpatine return, in the opening text for The Rise of Skywalker, they mention a galactic speech that he gives. That speech isn't in the film. It's not in any supplementary material. The only way that you were able to learn how he came back and what his plan was connected to the Fortnite event that happened before the film came out.
Wait, really?
So, a lore-critical plot point what, like, if you didn't take part in the Fortnite event, like, you didn't know what was going on.
Do you even Fortnite, bro? Sorry, I'm joking. Do you even Fortnite, bro? But yeah, no, there's a lot of like Easter eggs and like everything everywhere, I guess. Justin, what is your thoughts? What is your thoughts?
I'm the same. I don't think they're irredeemable, but I agree with Ellie. I do think The Force Awakens is a great movie. It's one of my favorite films, to be honest. And watching it in the cinema after so many years of not having any Star Wars content on the big screen was just like, yeah, it was amazing. I think the last film before that was the Clone Wars movie, because there was a movie before the show that was kind of bad though. But yeah, The Force Awakens is an amazing film.
Oh, okay, no, speak your piece.
That movie's not good.
Eli, speak your piece. Eli, speak your piece. You say this is your time to shine. As the biggest Star Wars fan here, let's go.
The Clone Wars movie is not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad.
The story's good. The animation is like it's flawed.
It appealed to a new generation.
It literally gave us one of possibly the greatest Star Wars characters in the verse. And for someone that was hated that much, her arc, I'm talking about Ahsoka, by the way, her arc was great. The introduction into her being Anakin's Padawan, it was great. It did a lot for the saga. And granted, like, it could have been tighter, and the animation could have been a bit better, but yeah, it wasn't a bad film.
It's what it led to as well. Obviously, it led to like the whole Clone Wars that we know. Then it also led to Rebels, which obviously has then led to even more in the current state. And kind of bouncing off like other people's points, but you're bringing that whole new, almost like bringing it to a new fandom in a new time. Where obviously we grew up with certain films, you know, the older generation grew up with the originals. The new generation needed something. And I think that's where things like the Disney parks, also being a Disney adult, I think I love so much, is seeing things like Galaxy's Edge have so much additional world building that's brought in that we wouldn't have gotten without these newer films. You know, Force Awakens I thought was great. I still enjoy Force Awakens. It's good fun. The other two, we don't even really look at them. We don't think about them. They're not there in the parks, really. But, you know, like, as an overall, those things wouldn't exist for a newer generation if Force Awakens didn't exist. Same with Mando, same with, you know, like how Baby Yoda was taken from the whole world. Like, Grogu is such a loved thing.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have got that without that newer influx. So it's, yeah.
Baby Yoda really, like, took over Twitter. Like how Baby Groot, it was like, nope, Baby Yoda. Or was it the other way around? I don't remember. But, you know, everyone had, like, the backpack. Everyone had the pin, I remember. I also want to add on to that, like, wait, let me move on to my screen here. I just want to add on, like, you know, I'd love to visit, like, the Disney parks and that. I've only been to Tokyo Sea, Disney Sea. Wait, is Disney Sea in Tokyo? Yes, anyway. I've only been to that one, but I feel with having all the Star Wars, like, areas within the Disney parks is really cool because you feel so immersed in it, and finding like these hidden gems, and then you can relate that back to the storyline. Like, I think it was hinted at here before, but I think that's really cool. Mid, what is your thoughts? I don't think you had a chance to say yet.
Yeah, sorry. I had a moment with my phone where I disconnected. So
no, you're good.
With in regards to the sequels, I'd say I probably be in agreement with like what everyone else has said so far, and that there is things to glean from it. Me in particular, my bias is going to show, but me in particular, my favorite out of the sequel trilogy in total is The Last Jedi, sadly.
Oh.
Mostly due to what it does in terms of the Jedi in how I view it, because there was a video around, I think sometime just after the Jedi came out, but before Rise of Skywalker came out, by I think a channel called like Space Doc, and it talks about how the Force works via Kanan's voice actor, where they put a theory together saying that essentially Rey's abilities being so versatile in the Force, or adept at like Force powers and being a Jedi, would be more assigned to something of the Force trying to overcorrect for one thing that is done completely wrong. So something like, say, Anakin being the chosen one is the Force trying to overcorrect for the darkness suddenly coming back. You got Luke coming in where it's trying to overcorrect for, again, the darkness coming in, taking over, and then you got to overcorrect with the light. Same thing with Kylo Ren, in that now got all this great darkness coming through, and now Rey's just apparently a Jedi who can do everything, and is now the Force essentially trying to overcorrect for that. Because especially when you look at it in the way of how the entire like saga's gone thus far, you've got effectively everything from like the beginning up to, say, the the Galactic Civil War, where you've got the Jedi being at the peak of their power, but slowly dwindling. But they basically like there's loads of them. There's like your mum's a Jedi, your dad's a Jedi, that tree over there's a Jedi.
You're a Jedi. You're a Jedi. You're a Jedi. That's how I feel. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
You've got the Dark Times in the Galactic Civil War, where it's basically the witch trials, where even one person being like called a Jedi or being hinted at being a Jedi is just basically clapped immediately, or is taken away and never heard from again and made like a Dark Force user. And then you've got the sequels where it's building up. Oh, there's rumors that this guy lifted a rock or something. Oh, I heard my mate Steve. He apparently could read somebody's mind or something like. But it kind of brings more of a mysticism to the Jedi in that there's not as many of them, but you don't really know who it is, and it's one of those things of there's hope in that can bring back a new thing there, and that's something that I thought the sequels could have brought until Rise of Skywalker happened. But there's a lot to be gleaned of it as well, especially for something like Finn, where he's a stormtrooper basically indoctrinated via birth. Like he's not a clone trooper, he's just like he was just taken away via birth and is now a stormtrooper who's at odds with his position in the galaxy and potentially force sensitive. But at the same time, that's something new you could very much expand off of, especially if you look back into say sometime just after the Empire, especially with all the newer shows. Like we've got Thrawn now coming back into the mix and everything. There's a lot to glean off of the sequel trilogy via what they've done thus far and what they had essentially was building through some of the films, even though they weren't all connected at one. And I believe even though there are issues with them, all in the same, they're still part of the canon in that you have to work with them to make something amazing out of it. And I said before, back when we had the prequels, we had us loving it, and then everyone like absolutely like lambasting Lucas and everything over it. And now you've got these sequels, and it's the same thing again. Just it's at a bigger corporation or one person in particular, but at the same time, you've got all these good stories coming out at the same time. So they're still good to take with the bad, and you can still take things from the film and expand upon them. And hopefully, if they do consider making new films from there, hopefully they can go take that and make something great with it in the future. Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Just
please, next time you're gonna introduce a big bad villain, please don't do it via Fortnite. Please don't do it via Fortnite.
Fortnite come first. It's in the contract. I'm joking. No, I don't know. Just want to say hello, Havoc, Santos, and also Kat. Kat says, I love the sequels, but I understand the hate. It's visually appealing, well filmed, acted. Has some satisfying moments, like Chewie getting his final medal, but overall I feeling empty. Like there's too many loose ends. What do you guys think about that? I'm assuming she's talking about I don't know. You guys know what I mean. But yeah, what do you think, Justin? Do you have thoughts on that?
Oh, sorry, I got distracted. I think Ellis just joined.
Oh, hello. Hello, Ellis. Hello. I am a Havoc. Oh wait, that's Santos. That's you. Oh, okay. I see. But yeah, what do you guys agree? Do you think like is the hate justified in that? Like, I don't know. Oh, you have thoughts. Go, Casualty. Let's go.
I don't know. I really don't know if it's justified, because like, I mean, we saw the extent of where hate went, where I've forgotten the name, but the actress for Rose like deactivated social media.
Oh yeah, that was stupid. Yeah.
That's where I'm like I can, the dislike for it, understandable. How far the hate's going, that's where I'm like, how far are we talking about the hate? But like, if you're average, normal, sane person, yeah, okay.
Yeah, dislike, that's calm, but actively hating on it, I just like, it's unnecessary.
Yeah. Like if up most of your day, you always want to talk about how bad it is. It's just like, shut up and go enjoy the other stuff that you do. Like, there's a lot of Star Wars content.
It's like they're done now. Like, it's not really like, it wasn't really cool then to like hate on it, but like now it's just like you're kind of beating a dead horse a bit.
Yeah, it basically is a dead horse at this point.
The thing is, I don't think the hate is unique to the sequels though, because look at the hate Moses Ingram got for Kenobi. Like, Star Wars fans, not like saying us, but like in general, Star Wars fans been hating. They're always gonna hate, like, and they're always gonna be very vocal. That's I guess
it's such a sacred franchise that everyone thinks that everything's got to be perfect, and you're kind of seeing it with Marvel as well. It's got to be done correctly, otherwise everyone hates it, and it's just gonna
was about that one, but yeah. I get what you guys mean. I think honestly, guys, this is a PSA. The actor is not the character. They're acting as the character, or like, you know, it's don't go hating on the person's like personal account. Just don't. Just don't.
Same with Ashoka, I think, because Sabine Wren got like a lot of hate for no reason.
Yeah. That's true. Unfortunately. Santos, I agree to an extent that having some loose ends and having the full picture ruins it. I get you. Other just like, yeah, no, totally, I get that. Guys, before I move on to the final question, we're not done yet. Can I have a consensus? I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna be like, do you agree? Do you disagree? I personally, is irredeemable. So that means, do you know when someone says yes and you respond with no, but you mean yes? So I don't want to say the wrong thing. Wait, the style tree is irredeemable. Definitely. I think we're doing good. Mid, what is your thoughts? Yes or no? Or whatever, maybe.
Are the sequels irredeemable? No, I don't think they are. I think that, like I said, I think there's still stuff you can take from that you can use in the future that can make something great.
Yeah. Geeks of the Week, let's go.
Echo the same point for me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
It's what it's done for the greater Star Wars universe.
I also think that, like, at the time the prequels came out, they were irredeemable. Clone Wars and Rebels filled in a lot of gaps, so I think the spin-off shows can kind of make the sequels a bit more enjoyable.
Time.
Casualty?
Yeah, I'm just same.
Same. We're on the same board here. I'm loving it. Justin, are you on the same board?
I agree.
Soph, do you agree?
Yeah, I'm on the same board as they're not irredeemable. There's stuff to like about it, and like the impact at the time of like Star Wars' big comeback, like really did mean a lot to a lot of people.
It does, honestly. I want to highlight as well, Santos is like, that's what you find in every big franchise. You will never have everyone loving it. I think once you have like a big franchise, you know, there's gonna be some hate, but also you can't like everything. I don't know. Is Ellis here? Or should I?
I mean, he's on mute.
He's on mute. Okay, cool. I will move on to the next question then. So, next question. Anakin's crash out in Revenge of the Sith was valid. Mid. I saw you first. Mid, say your piece. Go on. Say your piece right now. Go on.
Okay.
Go on.
There's Anakin's crash out. So taking in context of everything that's happened, and the only reason I'm doing this because if anybody's been keeping up with Andor, there's a certain YouTuber that I might have beef with. But so Anakin's crash out. Well, from what we understand, as a young kid, taken into the Jedi was originally going to not be made a Jedi because he was too old. Was still made a Jedi anyway. And then once Episode 2 starts rolling around, he thinks he's being held back. He thinks he's not being appreciated. You've got the Clone Wars where you see some of that come through, especially with trying to train Ahsoka, but he starts growing to his own. Then you get further into Episode 3. His wife's pregnant. His wife's now pregnant. His council, he's not on the council, but they recognize him as a master. Or a myriad of like emotions. Oh yeah, and his mother died in Episode 2. Sorry. And
spoilers.
So
not really.
All of that emotion, all of that heading to the point of you then have Mace Windu having a showdown against Palpatine. Basically, one pointing out this man's evil. We gotta take him down. We gotta kill him. And then you got the bad dude being like, "Nah, I can save your wife, innit?" So, me personally, I can understand the reasons as to why he may have made his impulse rash decision. I, however, cannot defend, nor can I agree that it was a understandable crash out. Because take it like this: you have it's basically you're going out to you're in between basically saving, I don't know, maybe like your world leader versus a dude saying this man is corrupt. We need to take him away, because like at that point you're basically letting that dude become like whatever dictator he wants to be, and in the words of Mon Mothma, giving credence to whatever monster will want to scream the loudest. At what point do you have to separate what you feel from what is right, is my question.
Yeah.
And I think he was doing more of what he felt, because it's Anakin, rather than what was right, and what he felt became what was right. And again, I understand it, but no way can I justify, nor can I say, nah, I can't see the reason for that crash out. I generally can't.
I feel like a lot of people are agreeing. Looks like chat agrees. Definitely, chat agrees with you. I just want to highlight this. Kat says, "Bro needed a diary not to kill all the Jedi and younglings and his wife." That's oof. Oof. I don't know. Justin, what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? He's smiling.
I mean, I do kind of agree with Mid, but at the same time, I think his crash out was just a representation of how corrupt the Jedi Order was.
I mean, yeah.
Because they needed to be taken down, and obviously, Palpatine was corrupt, but so was Mace Windu and the whole of the Jedi Council. So yeah, they were corrupt. Yes, they were.
I get that, but his crash out wasn't highlighting any of that.
It was a representation of it. Like I think, like, because obviously him not being on the Jedi Council. Why was he not on the Jedi Council? They recognized him as a master, but they didn't put him on. No, like why? Like, no.
Clone Wars explains that because he didn't successfully train his Padawan. That's why.
Because she left. And she got kicked out. Well, she didn't get kicked out. They let her back in, but she left because it was corrupt. Because of her obviously being framed and all that rubbish. Yeah.
You're right. But at the end of the day, he still didn't succeed in training her in their eyes, and that's the canonical reason as to why he didn't get granted rank of master or whatever. But it's kind of like what Mid said. His selfish feelings don't really justify that. Like, you're right in the sense where the Jedi had become complacent and, you know, they weren't really serving the same purpose they used to, and obviously the Force had to balance them out by wiping them out. But I feel like that's kind of unrelated to Anakin's selfish actions to go slay younglings and all the other innocent people.
I don't agree with that. Yeah, that is crazy. You know, I don't. I get why he was angry. Yeah, but I don't agree with all the killing and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can understand where the anger stems from. You know, he lost his mum, and you know he'd been suffering from the visions of losing Padme and all of that. But it doesn't justify his actions whatsoever. And then afterwards, he went and became Space Hitler, so that, like, you know...
But then he saved the world again. He balanced the Force again by killing the Emperor.
By dying.
Yeah, like years later.
The Chosen One, yeah, he still fulfilled his duty at the end of the day, but obviously, how we got to that point is a bit mad, but... Yeah.
Anyways. Casualty, you're nodding your head. You want to say something?
No. I think that Anakin's crack out, to say the least, is like, it was kind of inevitable because of the Jedi Order's own ignorance. They he was you know, taken when he was too old to be a Jedi, or like trained to be one, and obviously, you know, he didn't have that protection in the early years of life, you know, out child psychology, but we won't get into that. But yeah, so like, you know how, like, you know, keep your emotions, be stable, all of that, conceal, don't feel, whatever. I think that did not help Anakin whatsoever. And even when he tried his hardest, being told, you know, you've got this, without the other badge that everyone else has, that, you know, that would set me over the edge. I'm not gonna lie. But I won't go kill kids. That's crazy. That's crazy work. So it's he's justified to feel the way he feels, and it was inevitable with the way how, like, I feel the Jedi Council is like ignorant, or like just the way of Jedi life, because it's also kind of crazy that you hear, oh, he's the chosen one, and just assume that it's for you. Just assume that, oh, it's gonna be the chosen one for the light side, and not, you know, and not the dark. So it's kind of like, you should have put a bit more like care and thought into it, you know. But yeah, it was inevitable to me, but not justified. Like, calm down, take a breath, you know.
Take a seat, take a breathe.
Like,
breathe in and out.
I said, just go write in a diary, literally. Go yell at a wall, something. But you know,
a diary is what's saving the world.
I don't think Bro should have been trained. I can't lie. Yeah, there's a reason why. Like, it's not right that the Jedi take very young kids, but at the same time, you kind of see why they do it. Like, you haven't formed any attachments, right? And they take this guy who's literally been a slave for as long as he's been alive. His mom isn't with him. Obviously, none of the Jedi kids, the Padawans have their moms with them, but like, he's formed an attachment to his mother. They've now trained him and gassed him up of how important he is, right? You got this other evil guy that's like whispering in his ear, like, yo, bro, I'm telling you, that guy don't rate you, but you're better than him. You know what I mean? Like, there's all this going on, and that's
said
where
it
the
just
first
like that.
mistake was. Like, it wasn't just about, I don't know, I feel like the prophecy wasn't taken seriously enough, and it wasn't understood by the Jedi. Like, the Sith, they knew what they were doing. They completely played it right. Like, all the stuff that Palpatine was doing by, like, I don't know, sending Anakin on the right missions, like when he has to kind of take out Clovis, when he has to take out that spider guy, I forgot his name. All these things are very small, but they end up making him feel like, oh, do you know what? When I did this, we actually got results. And it makes him feel like he's the guy, like he's that important, when it's supposed to be a team effort. If he had just listened to Yoda and not, okay, pinch of salt. That's the one right thing Yoda ever said in this whole franchise, right? Where he was like, fear leads to the dark side, whatever leads to hate and all that. Yeah, he should have just listened to that and trusted Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan was someone that was quite, what's the word? Centered, right? He didn't just react, and Obi-Wan literally spent most of his time trying to get Anakin to react the same way, not react the same way, but like to kind of take a step back before just rushing into things. And like their whole arc is literally them clashing at the fact that Anakin just rushes in. Had he just listened to Obi-Wan, who was his master, he would have not had that crash out. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, they gassed him too much, and by virtue of that, whether it felt right, it was never justified. Like, I understand the Jedi were like corrupt and the dogmatism of their whole ideology was kind of blinding them, but it's just one of these like cases where like 1 + 1 is kind of making 2, but it doesn't really add up. If he, you know what I mean? It's a coincidence that it ended up being that way. Yeah. But he shouldn't have been trained. But that's just me.
I see. Period. Alice, you wanna go?
Nah, I was just saying period, bro. I agree.
Soph, you wanna go?
In terms of Anakin's crash out, I will say that I get it from a standpoint. It wasn't justified. Like, what he did was obviously like very wrong, but at the same time it was a, well, what did you like expect type of deal. Because like you take this young impressionable kid, you tell him that, oh, you're the chosen one, you're going to be doing great things. His relationship with Padme, like in episode 2, because like there's that scene where like she rejects him, I think. So obviously that kind of like messes him up a bit. Yeah. You come episode 3, like obviously he's worked hard like all these years, and then like what Mid said, like you had the council tell him like, oh, we recognize you as master, but we do not like put you on like the council. You had everything that went on in the Clone Wars, right? Then you have his wife that is pregnant, and you obviously, because like in the Jedi code, like romance isn't like permitted, so like obviously like he has to keep that a secret. And then like you've got, am I allowed to swear for this one?
You can say arse, like they were an asshole or something, but no, just so we don't get demonetized.
Yeah. No F or S word. Yeah. Just
yeah,
like,
but yeah, go ahead.
PG-ish. Yeah.
PG-ish. But yeah,
then
go
you
on.
have like Palpatine. Then you got Palpatine like talk to me, just going like, hey, bro, and I know you're going through this. Now, I'm not saying the Jedi can't help you, but I am saying that, oh, like if you ever want to like delve into Sith magic, like, did you hear about Darth Plagueis the Wise? And obviously, so then now he's now like manipulating Anakin, like putting all these thoughts in his head, like, oh, you like, oh, that vision you saw of Padme dying in childbirth, ooh, super scary, ooh. And then that's obviously like affecting his mental state. And then you have the fight between Palpatine and Mace Windu, and Windu's obviously going like, he's shooting lightning at me, Anakin, like he's very clearly the bad guy. But because you had all those things Palpatine was saying to Windu, from Anakin's point of view, like the Sith side has offered him a way to save his wife. And the Jedi are just kind of like, damn, bro, like, okay, we'll leave you to that then. So obviously, because like he's concerned about like his wife and like his unborn children. So obviously, in that, like, it's a situation where you'd be like under a lot of pressure, like, oh, who do I choose? This guy that's offering me a way out, or the people who are like good guys in terms of like people perceive them. Obviously, he goes to the Sith side, and then like he kills the village, obviously. And I think seeing that, I don't see a lot of people talk about is when he's on Mustafar, and then you have like we can all like get away from the Anakin's. I mean, you like no Sith, no Jedi, stuff like that. And you can see like a split second Anakin's like considering her offer. I think the final tipping point was. It's meant to be a secret theme, but I laugh anytime I see this. Is when it quick cuts to Obi-Wan like standing, his hands on his hips, just like staring at them.
What you mean? You mean Aura Farman while she's dying?
Aura Farman.
you mean
Obviously, in like Anakin's mind, he thinks like, "Oh, you've brought Obi-Wan here," and then obviously, because like Obi-Wan didn't say like, "No, she didn't." He just stands there, and then Anakin starts talking Padme, and I think that was like the final tipping straw, like his crash out, because at that point he was gone. Like there was no more Anakin. So blame Obi-Wan basically. He stayed off.
Yeah, I have a.
No, stop.
Oh, go on. Go, say your thing.
Obi-Wan, hang on a minute. First of all, you said earlier, like, what would you expect, right? I don't think anyone in the history of Star Wars that we've seen has suffered more than Obi-Wan, but he stayed true to the mission.
I don't know if that's what Kim agrees, but
it wasn't even the chisel, but he stayed true to the mission. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not hearing anything, bro. Like. Even the argument you guys have made about like I can see it, I saw it when Obi-Wan could have turned, and he didn't. Not justified.
When Satine.
Bro, when his master died, so bro even took on Anakin. The reason his master died, bro, and he still trained him.
Dang.
Hey, bro.
It's true. It's true.
I think Obi-Wan definitely deserves a crumb of blame, like a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
I think they all do, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Does Obi-Wan deserve blame?
Well, he observed Anakin's relationship with Padme, but he also had his own relationship with Satine, so he was aware of how you could be in tune with the Force and still have relationships. Yeah. You were saying he experienced all that love, all that loss, but he still remained true to the cause, true to the mission, and maintained his connection with the Force. I feel like. If he didn't hide, like if he was just, I feel like if he didn't hide that relationship from Anakin.
Anakin knew.
Did Anakin knew? Did he know?
Obi-Wan knew. You mean Obi-Wan who?
No. Anakin knew because he kept teasing about it. Every single time they had a mission together and they have to like do something on Mandalore, Anakin was there and Anakin knew. He used to tease him about it.
Oh, no, you're right.
Was Anakin still pretending to Obi-Wan that he wasn't in a relationship with Padme? Yeah.
Even when they get to like. When they introduced the Bad Batch on that mission, Anakin's on the phone to Padme, and then Obi-Wan teases him about it, right? The mission before that, on Mandalore, when they have to literally the one before that, we have to get the codes that Echo was transmitting as a slave, whatever. He gets that from that it's a different mission. It's in like season 5 now, but on that mission, he literally ends up stabbing the guy in the back, so that he can save Satine, and Obi-Wan hasn't got to like choose between the two, and he knew then and before that, because the whole thing on the way there they were teasing each other about it, so he knew about Satine and Obi-Wan.
Okay, cool. We'll bear that in mind. Did Anakin try to keep his relationship hidden from Obi-Wan, because I feel like he was still trying to do that?
Yeah, he tried to hide it.
Okay, so even with what you're saying, that he was aware that Satine and Obi-Wan were in a relationship, I feel like Obi-Wan still didn't kind of draw those lessons that he could have. Do you know what I mean? It was just, you were saying they just teased each other. And so Anakin was probably seeing, well, you can have relationships in the Force. And so, because obviously you said Yoda said, relationships or love leads to this. They say fear leads to this, and
but that's all the way in episode 3.
What I'm saying is like there is this idea within like the Jedi dogma that you shouldn't have relationships, but he sees his master doing it, so he's like, yeah, it should be fine. And they never have that kind of conversation or that lesson where you need to kind of reel yourself in and keep yourself in check. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously
Loki needed that as well. Like,
But
definitely needed that.
the issue
Loki-
is he then just hears what Palpatine's saying, and then he shuts off Obi-Wan completely.
Yeah, here there's different factors at play,
So
but I think
Obi-Wan isn't to blame. I don't think
he's completely to blame, but he definitely deserves a crumb of blame because he was aware to an extent and he should have tied that into
That said it literally in the chat. He says it.
Go save your girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, like
No, but listen. I'm not saying okay, fine. He was aware, but I feel like if he was aware and he saw his master doing that, and there was no kind of lesson behind that, then obviously there was no way for him to keep his own relationship in check. So I feel like Obi-Wan does deserve a bit of blame because he could have taught Anakin from his own relationship, and he didn't. He just let the jokes, go save your girlfriend. He just let the jokes spiral on.
I feel like everyone is
this debate to cause into whether Obi-Wan was right or wrong.
No, but Clem, I'm not gonna lie. I do feel like I agree with you, and obviously I joined late, so I don't know what's been said and what's not. So I'll try and be concise. But I feel like it's one of them ones where it's like it took a village to raise a child, but they also like cooked him. It took a village to cook the shit out of him. Oh damn.
Yeah,
My
I don't
bad.
think Obi-Wan's solely to blame, but yeah, the village failed.
But like, because but even Obi-Wan definitely has some accountability to take, because even in a situation like what we said, instead of actually stepping down and like intervening, Unc chose to literally aura farm on a ship for like a good couple of minutes.
I know.
Well,
like, he didn't even say, oh, I snuck on, or like, oh, this isn't Padme's fault, or like she didn't bring me here. He stands there just with his hands on his hips and just doesn't move or say anything at all.
Ellis, carry on.
And I also feel like, so obviously like Clone Wars is canon. And like, when I take all of that into account, I feel like as a soldier, Anakin was low-key like used so much and then just like put back in his box, because like they would make him make decisions that like a chancellor or like a master should make often, like all the time. But then when he's like, I want that title though, they're like, no, you're okay, bro.
But then he just wasn't on the council.
He had the,
yeah, but like
he was a master, but just didn't have a seat on the council.
I thought he had the seat, but not the title.
Are you sure? He wasn't a master.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't a Jedi
master.
Anakin was
right. You were on the council, but we did not rank.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Yeah. He was. But he was a general, so he was able to make decisions. It wasn't just on his own.
Yeah, but like my point is, to him, that's irrelevant, because he wanted that title. Like he literally wanted that title. He didn't actually necessarily care about, well, in my opinion, I don't know the guy in it. He didn't tell me this, but what I inferred is that he wanted the title because he just wanted that label that forces people to respect him, because he came from somewhere where he was never respected.
He wanted something of himself, and he didn't have that before, and that's where that's what I was saying about Obi-Wan somewhat needing to guide him a little bit more in terms of like an actual like family figure. It's because he got taken away in a very interesting environment and was told, you're going to be this, you're going to be that, you are the big thing. And then for him to get to that stage and then be a bit like, yeah, but you're big thing, but you're not us.
It's true, and I think it speaks to a greater metaphor in the flaws within the Jedi Order, because like he was taken out of like poverty in a place where he was insignificant, and then he was put somewhere where they made him feel significant. In the grand scheme of the game, they also made him feel like he was just another building block in the massive like pyramid that was the Order anyway. And like that's one of my issues with the Jedi, and that's why I don't even like them. And I feel like they were low-key the villains anyway. I feel like they were both villains. I feel like the Jedi and the Sith were low-key villains, bro, because a lot of them man's choices were just insane. Like you're saying, and it's intensely hypocritical anyway. I don't think a lot of people would have done a lot differently to Anakin if they went through what he went through, because you just wouldn't know what to do. Take it out of slavery, put into another form of slavery just under a different title, and being told that it's better because you're doing it for some righteous cause, which isn't even that righteous at the end of the day, because it's kind of just like what 9 old dudes want you to do. It's not even really righteous. They sent this guy on kill streaks just for the love of the game in Clone Wars.
The kill streak, he got that KDA.
They say like, Battlefront 2 death matches.
Anakin's KDA by the end of his time as Anakin Skywalker is nuts, bro. He's like 500, 0, 200 assists, bro. So I'd crack too. Imagine, bro, given all of that, and then you can't even have your girl or your title. I'm tweaking out too. Let me just say that Anakin's crash out was not wrong in my opinion.
Because
sorry. Could leave.
Mid, I don't think you had a. I want to carry on just because of timing wise, but Mid, do you want to say your piece and then we'll end this question and go to the next one?
Yeah, I was just gonna say counterpoint. He could leave, and he's mentioned that he wanted to leave at one. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. But so Mid, yes or no? Anakin's crash out, or as someone said earlier, next level tantrum in Revenge of the Sith was valid. Yes or no?
No.
No, straight up no. Geeks, what do you think? That's a straight up no. Casualty.
Nope.
No. Justin. No. Soph, no.
No.
I mean, Ella says no as well. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Next question. I think we have 2 more questions after this. So, Star Wars: The Clone Wars remains the best spin-off. Specifically, spin-off project. Okay. So if you have something to say here, Mid and Soph has something to say. Soph, you go, and then Mid, then Casualty.
Now, maybe it's because I didn't grow up with this. I'm not the biggest, and I'm not the biggest Clone Wars fan. I have to disagree with this statement. I think the best spin-off project, and I am a little biased because of the media form they are, is the first Force Unleashed and the current ongoing Jedi trilogy that's happening with Fallen Order and Survivor. Force Unleashed, I think, but because it offers a really interesting what if in terms of the story. And that's why I like that it took a really big risk of saying, what if we just created the most overpowered Star Wars character like ever? And how would they deal with their like identity crisis and the fact that they were essentially like groomed as a child by Vader, not like that, groomed as a child by Vader to become a secret weapon, only to eventually be like betrayed at the end.
Yeah.
And then in Force Unleashed 2, you had the character arc of like, oh, I'm a clone now. Am I even like the real guy? Like he's saying I am, but I feel like inside I'm not. Like, do I even like deserve to live at this point? And with the current Jedi, they've got 2 of them out. I think they're doing the 3rd one soon, the Jedi trilogy. Like we've seen a lot.
If you're gonna say any spoilers, please don't.
Oh no, I'm not gonna.
Okay, no spoilers. Can you TLDR it?
Not...
Can you? So yes or no? What do you think?
No, I don't think so. Sorry if I went a bit.
No. You're good. Mid, what do you think?
So, as much as I understand the point of Force Unleashed in the Jedi series, I need to disagree, mostly because with Star Wars in particular, we've got so many stories to do with Jedi that might as well like just call it like Tales of the Jedi at this point. But the only reason I say that Clone Wars would be the best, I say Clone Wars would be the best. That was until Andor came out. So for me, that's in a bit of 2 spots right now, because you've got boots on the ground. With Clone Wars, you got both Jedi and boots on the ground stories from the perspectives of both the clones, the politics, and also the people involved, both on like relatively on both sides. And then with Andor, and then with something like Andor, you basically got it from boots on the ground from day one.
That's true.
And it goes into, and it's not even just like boots on the ground soldier. It's like you've got like some dude who runs a shop who sees how everything's progressing from his perspective. And you don't get as much of that from Clone Wars because it's mostly centered around the clones and Jedi in particular. But there's a bit more of a diverse range in perspectives in that one. So I'd say animation-wise, it is the best one starting out animation, especially for that little bit in between of episode 2 and 3. But if we're going overall, I might have to hand it to Andor, but it is a very close second. It is a very, very close second.
Yeah. Casualty, you were nodding along there. Why are we nodding along?
So I usually just nod when I'm listening. I'm like,
no, I'm just trying to add to yeah.
For me, like I haven't. I will confess, some of you know already, I haven't seen Andor because Rogue One made me cry so much. I literally cannot physically bring myself to do it. I will do it at some point, but like every time I see my baby, I'm like,
I get that.
yeah. So I'm like, oh, one day I'll be a big brave girl when I watch it. But for the Clone Wars, I wouldn't know if I would. Okay, I think at the moment, if you told me like the best series that they've brought out, it would be Rebels, because love the characters, love that you stay with them like more or less the entire time, and you're not jumping to this group for like a whole season and we're back to this group, because Clone Wars kind of did that. And when I watched Clone Wars just before season 7 come out, like I watched it in its full, like when I was younger and it was out, I'd switch it on thinking it was Attack of the Clones, and I was being like, what the hell, this is animated, this isn't what I know.
Yeah.
So I'd like switch it up, and then so I thought, oh, you know what, let me like actually watch it, because everyone's telling me I have to watch it. And there were just times where I felt like the Clone Wars just dragged. I was like, can you just get to the story? Like there were some arcs that were like fun to watch, that didn't really provide much, but like still entertaining and stuff. But there was just some moments where I was just like, oh my, like I'll have it playing and I'll just be doing something completely different. That's why I can't say Clone Wars is the best. But if we just talk about Clone Wars season 7, that means everything to me. So that's where I'm at.
I get it. Justin, do you agree with season 7 as well?
Yeah, I'll say that in general with Clone Wars, there are like some arcs in there that are peak Star Wars, and then there's some parts that are like, yeah, they just drag and some bit boring. Like the whole thing, like the whole arc with Anakin and Ahsoka, that was amazing. Up to her and to her leaving, and then even like getting more insights into the Separatists and finding out like about like what they're all about. Because I don't think the actual original like prequel trilogy really went into that as much, but Clone Wars did a really good job of like explaining that they're not actually evil. They just don't fuck with. Well, I know almost words. They just don't mess with the Jedi. Yeah. And obviously, we see how corrupt the Jedi actually is. The Jedi Order is, yeah.
You got it mixed up. I'm joking. Geeks, what do we think?
I like the mention of Rebels. I feel like in terms of like Clone Wars is very much an Anakin-centered story, which isn't a problem. I feel like it fills in a lot of the gaps we had missing between episode 2 and episode 3. Personally, I just think Rebels was slightly better because we do explore less of the Jedi side and more of the mysticism surrounding the Force. And I feel like that's just what elevates it for me slightly. Like Kanan Jarrus, in my opinion, is the perfect Jedi.
Yeah.
Who is able to balance relationships of love and family and loss and all of that. And even if you haven't seen Rebels, I really recommend it. But there's a scene where something crazy happens in the Force that I don't think I've ever seen in anything else in Star Wars. And I don't want to say I feel like you should just go experience it if you haven't watched it, but that scene like is probably one of my favorite scenes in the entirety of Star Wars. Yeah, so I think Rebels is just slightly better in that regard, and then it ties in directly to Ahsoka, and obviously Ahsoka is my favorite Star Wars character, and I think that show is gonna go on to develop more like around the mysticism surrounding the Force and balance. And because I think in the main projects, the balance in the Force is the main catalyst for all of the conflict, right? The Jedi get wiped out because balance needs to happen, and then Vader happens because the dark side needs to balance it out, and then Luke comes back because he needs to balance the Force again. It's literally all about balance, but we never really learn about that. We never really have any like kind of anything regarding to exploring that, so that's why I liked Rebels and Ahsoka. But yeah,
I see like a
I watched a lot of...
Oh no, sorry, go, you go.
Oh no, okay. Yeah, I watched a lot of like Rebels growing up as well, and I connected with that show a lot, especially as an animation guy.
Cool.
I really found, as much as I enjoyed Clone Wars, especially the movie actually got me really into Star Wars in general. I just like my grandparents bought me a load of the toys and stuff like that when I was a kid, and that's what I really resonated with. And then seeing Rebels take it in a new direction, which I hadn't really seen before, and I was a Disney Channel kid like through and through, so that would be what I watched. And when Rebels would come on, I'd be more than happy to sit down and watch that, whereas I felt like Clone Wars for me was a little bit less accessible as well. I just didn't get into it as a kid as well. Whereas then growing up, one of my best cinematic experiences that I will still remember is Rogue One. I love that film from so many different elements. I think like visually it's amazing. There's brand new stories, and I think it's the fact it was obviously when The Force Awakens came around, it was new characters, new thing, but they did still have everything sort of relied on something that was pre-existing,
Mm-hmm.
whereas Rogue One was something so new and such a brilliant new concept in terms of let's build onto a world so effortlessly and do it well and introduce insane characters like obviously Cassian Andor, Jinna, and of course, as Eli loves, K2SO. You know, I loved that side of the world building, which to be honest, I think is also why I enjoyed Mandalorian than a lot more like other people. Like Mandalorian seems to sort of get kind of brushed away, especially with Book of Boba Fett being what Book of Boba Fett was. But especially during COVID and things like that, I really enjoyed Mandalorian and the way those smaller stories build the world of Star Wars a lot better. So for me, like Rogue One would be my favorite.
Love that. I agree with that as well. But I also noticed as I was looking on your screen, Clem, did you point at the chat? Did you see what Ellis posted? So Ellis said, I think this is, I know nobody else agrees with this, I think, anyway, from what I've heard so far. Rebels mid-fiction. This is a resounding no from everybody. Ellis, are you here to like...
Hear me out?
Oh, yeah.
Hear me out?
I don't care. They turned a lightsaber into a strap. I don't care, bro. That's mid-fiction. Why is there a Glock on the lightsaber, bro?
Rebels is just kind of okay. It's just okay. I don't think it's peak fiction. I don't think it's bad fiction. I think it is that perfectly the middle one. I think most of this comes from the fact that as a kid, I found it really boring for some reason. I had a really
trust your gut.
I think we have the less
watching experience is different. Like if
I
you
like
watch it
some things. Like it's not irredeemable.
Just
yeah, exactly. If you watch it in one go, it's so cohesive. It's actually it's really good. I wouldn't know. It's far from okay. It's very good.
If you only gave it I'd just say try it again.
They're trying to tell you that lightsabers are a weapon from a more civilized age, but it has a blaster on it, bro. Well, I don't.
Okay, so that's not one season. That's like one or two
seasons where the Sith and Jedi empires.
Let's break that down, okay?
Break it down.
First of all, let's break it down. So the kid he's talking about, Ezra Bridger, right? He makes this lightsaber without any official Jedi training. First of all, like from Hu Yang, who was the droid that approved when Jedi made lightsabers, right? Which is why when he does meet Hu Yang, he makes a saber without a blast on it. You get it? He was a kid. He was trying out things. His first ever weapon was a slingshot. Do you know what I mean? And he was roped into this thing. So the first time he gets to express himself, of course he's going to go crazy with it. And that's why it's the only one.
Can I also interject here about the whole... I feel like that also is like a symbol of his maturity going throughout the show. Where, you know, like, he was like, oh, guns, yeah, whatever. And, you know,
pew, pew.
once he starts to understand and learn about it a bit more, he goes the more mature route and understands that like it's a really valuable weapon that he ends up using. It's not just, you know, let's have a blaster for the fun of it.
I do agree though that the helicopter stuff was a bit whack, but the gun thing wasn't. I was dead.
Point out
in my opinion,
people got mad at a crossguard. Just so everyone remembers that people got mad at the crossguard when that first got shown. So
wait, did people hate the crossguard?
I was not mad at the crossguard.
Why? I thought it was like sick when they showed it.
Kylo Ren's one especially, like. I'll rest my case there.
Unless you said you were gonna say something.
In my opinion, Clone Wars is peak spin-off, and it's just because everyone became King Von, bro. Like Obi-Wan was on his King Von timing, Anakin was on his King Von timing. He saw a guy try to take his girl, and he was like, you know what? I'm gonna put the lightsaber down. I'm gonna show you the fisticuffs, bro. My name's Anakin Von Skywalker, bro.
He doesn't need a lightsaber.
Everyone was YNs that whole show, bro. Bro. Don't even get me started on Ventress and Dooku, bro. Everyone was on timing. That show had peak representation of like lightsaber culture and like the combative nature of the show to me, man. Like
to be fair, fight choreo and animation
greatest weapon is
insane.
Yeah.
And that's in my opinion. And then let's not even talk about like the actual clone drama. Like the actual clone drama was so tough too. It was almost Parasite level existentialism, bro. had me really standing back and be like, yo, what is the difference between just me being a regular a YN and then a clone that wants to be a YN, bro? Where do we draw the line? And these were the real questions that I think Clone Wars were making conversations about. Obviously fictionally, but yeah,
I will say in terms of I will say in terms of great things that Clone Wars did. I think what it did with Darth Maul was really good with his whole arc, and just the casting of Sam Witwer alone as Darth Maul, like that was peak in my opinion.
That's true. I'm just gonna, for keeping time's sake, I'm gonna go around again and ask the classroom. Mid, yes or no? Star Wars: The Clone Wars remains the best spin-off project. Yes or no?
Yeah, I'll say yeah.
Yep. Geeks, what do we think? Yes or no?
Gotta disagree.
Ooh. I see a mid. I see a maybe.
My bad.
Casualty, what do you think?
I also say no.
Justin?
Yeah, overall I think it is, yeah.
It is? Okay, differing opinions. Love that. Soph, what do you think? Yes or no?
I'm gonna have to disagree. I stand by my original opinion of Force Unleashed being the best spin-off.
Fair enough.
No more gamers on the stream, bro. No more gamers on the stream. This guy's talking to us about a game in 2010, bro.
Clem, you're so real for that.
It's called Star Wars Force Unleashed. It's Star Wars. It counts.
I know the bro's second choice is Battlefront 2, bro. I know you wanted a Battlefront 3 bandit, bro.
Not too much of Battlefront 2, right?
Guys,
hey, I
didn't bless your story, man.
Okay, no. Hot off Battlefront 2, alright? Okay, it peaked.
Fair enough. Next question. Yeah. Next question, real quick. Is Jar Jar Binks actually a secret Sith Lord helping Palpatine? Like, so I saw this on... Okay, I instantly see the geek's face. Everyone's face changed, but listen, I saw this on Reddit. I had to ask this question.
That was your first mistake. You went on Reddit.
Yeah. Eli, go.
He's not a Sith. He's just stupid. That's all I can say.
You don't know about
they've made it a thing now, like in the Lego thingy, but like
that's an alternate universe thing.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. In canon, he's not a Sith. He's just.
However.
Oh.
there was agendas from those who worked at ILM at the time to make that a thing, and I was really lucky to work at ILM when they were working on the show, on the Lego show. And the amount of people who had been at ILM for like 25 years that were so beyond happy to get what they wanted in like an actual physical form. Although it was like a, animated Lego show, the fact that it was further than just like fans going, "Oh, John." Yeah, like the fact that there was actual people who were working on it on a proper scale. That's what maybe feeds into it a little bit more, is that there is certain like behaviors and notions, and obviously he's a CG character.
Yeah.
And as we all know, animation is very intentional. There's little details and things like that. So if he's appearing in the background doing something a little bit crazy for a second, that's there on an intentional purpose. Whether that was some one particular artist's thought path, there was still some sort of agenda for that behind the scenes, which is why, for me, I don't think it'll ever be answered properly, because although we'd all have an opinion, there's a whole secondary opinion behind the scenes of it, and that's what kind of makes me love the whole topic in general. Because
can I just remind you guys?
Yes, go.
Can only be 2. Granted, Clone Wars already contradicts that because there's like 6, but it can only be 2, and Palpatine makes sure that he only has another one. I'll leave that there.
Casualty, you had your... I think you had your hand up. You know what I mean, yeah.
Oh,
no, you go.
I can go ahead. I now hearing new information, I honestly have no clue. But that was pretty cool. I would say no. In general, I had no idea it went like that far, where there was people working on it all those years ago. that makes it a whole new. Ooh, maybe,
Yeah.
and maybe they've animated references so that way they can get it into their project.
Mm.
Or like, you know, sometimes people just do what they want in it. But yeah, no, I would say no. I didn't think Jar Jar Binks was that smart to be that of a...
Damn, you said this dumb. I'm joking. Lovingly. I want to add, if it was in like the Lego game, then, and I know it's an alternate universe, whatever, but technically, it means it did happen, and therefore, maybe.
We're talking canon though.
Yeah, but isn't that canon if it is?
It didn't happen.
He will happen eventually.
Eventually.
What do you think the new sequel trilogy is going to be about? I mean, we didn't see him in the new trilogy at all. He could have been in the background.
Is he not dead? He's still alive.
How do you know? How do you know the lifespan of his species?
What does that mean?
We don't know.
No, man knows the lifespan of his species, but he's.
You imagine?
We don't know.
He could be in cryosleep for all we know.
Jar Jar. Crazies. Yeah.
So I'm guessing the consensus for this question is a no.
Yeah. No.
Hey, don't speak for me.
Oh, okay. Okay, no. Ellis, you go.
I don't need to show any working, bro. I'm just saying. I already put it on my story. Long live Darth Jar Jar, bro. Fall in line.
They put him in Fortnite. If Fortnite says he's canon, he's canon.
Yeah, bro. And if we can get Rey being a Palpatine, we can get Darth Jar Jar, bro. That's my Instagram story. Long live Darth Jar Jar.
We're reaching for stuff now at this point. We're reaching too much.
No, because the plot twist would be insane. If there's a new film that comes out and there's a plot twist where Jar Jar's actually the smartest guy, he doesn't speak like that. He's like a proper. He's got his head screwed on.
He's got a deep voice.
Imagine the Darth Vader Rogue One corridor scene, but that's Jar Jar Binks instead.
Bro, see, this is why Luis is my guy, bro. Because Luis sees the vision. This is a chest level reach. I'm only extending my hand on my level.
Until we get the Yuuzhan Vong in canon, I'm saying no.
Bro, this brother's about to break his hand trying to reach that.
Nah, bro. This is a surface level reach, bro. There is no reaching involved.
This brings up an interesting question. What would you guys rather be canon, Starkiller or Darth Jar Jar?
Starkiller.
Darth Jar Jar, bro.
Starkiller.
Okay.
Okay, the Secret Apprentice, mate, and this. You've got the.
Actually,
they're going with the
I'll say Starkiller.
Right? Guys, this is my theory. Lock in, right? They're going with the Mortis gods. They're gonna have Ahsoka be the daughter and Starkiller be the son because they're both Darth Vader's apprentice. Guys, lock in, get to know. Starkiller's gonna be canon.
Play this when they say.
That's what I'm saying.
Most people who love
the man that killed Obi-Wan's ghost needs to be canon.
1 second, Sophian, bro. Ellie, please.
So I'm saying from the people that I've met or seen online, they will love Star. This is only because I'm a hater, basically. Some people who are online, they will love Starkiller, and then in the same breath, call Rey and Mary Sue. Get out of my face.
Fuck, get out. Call it, get out.
They just hate women.
No,
Right? That's not a
exactly,
Starkiller issue. That's just a misogyny issue.
Yeah, it's misogyny as well. Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely. But yeah,
that's crazy.
No, I agree with that. Yeah.
Would I enjoy it?
I feel like if
because I do think he's sick, but no.
If they make him canon, they have to heavily nerf him. Like they really have to nerf him.
Wasn't there like concept art for him as an Inquisitor?
No, I think that's just fan art.
Ah, true.
Yeah, it's not.
Guys, I'm telling you here today, Starkiller, right? That's my theory. Starkiller will be in Ahsoka.
Guys, play this. Play this reel back. Play this YouTube video. Play this reel back. Okay, you'll see it, and then it's there. Putting it down theory.
I'm gonna agree with Clem. I'm gonna choose
the views expressed in this video are individual and not representing the geeks.
I've been saying this for years.
Throw them under the bus like that.
I've been saying this for years.
And if Disney are watching
this as well. And he's not played by Sam Witwer, then I don't want it. I don't want him played by anyone else.
Yeah, it's got to be Sam Witwer.
Wanted to say something.
That's another thing, right? That's another reason why I think that they haven't. He's been in Star Wars live action, but they've never showed his face, or they put him in a mask, or they've just used his voice because they're saving him for Starkiller.
Live action is good.
Think about that.
Andor.
Ellis, you
No,
want to
Han
say your
Solo, I
thing?
swear.
He's been
Han
in
Solo.
something.
Han Solo movie. Darth Maul was at the end credit scene.
Yeah,
I think that was just a CGI model.
Oh, was it? Was
No,
it?
that was-
He
No,
has
it
been in
wasn't.
Star Wars in a
No,
month.
the guy at the end is the original Ray Park. It's not anyone else.
Oh, okay. My bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Ellis, can you say your piece and then we'll go to the second to last question. Just keeping time on the things.
I agree with Clem. I think Starkiller is the better option because Darth Jar Jar's already canon anyway, so it's a bit of a trick question. It's a bit of a no-brainer.
Reach Ellis.
There's no reason going on here, bro. Luis knows what I'm talking about, bro.
To go back on the original question, I'm guessing everyone but Ellis, and you know what, I want to agree too, that Jar Jar Binks is actually a secret Sith Lord helping Palpatine.
That's what's up.
We know the answer. Second, oh wait, is this? Oh, this is the last question. Sorry, my bad. Debate question. The Star Wars community is the most toxic fan base. I'm not saying it is. I'm just reading out the question. Don't come at me, please. Please, no.
Yes.
Um,
yes, it is. Well,
yes.
Not everyone.
Jeez. Okay, Suf, go ahead. Say your piece.
Lord of the Rings
think the
exists.
problem
Yeah,
is-
that fan base exists.
I will
The Lord of the
say-
Rings fan base exists.
think
We're bad Star Wars fans, not like us obviously, but like the Star Wars fan community is toxic, but it's not the most toxic. Lord of the Rings and Doctor Who, bro.
Oh, you want Doctor Who?
No,
No,
I wouldn't-
I
no,
disagree
no,
with the
no,
Doctor
no,
Who
no,
one.
no,
No.
Compare them.
Crazy things. There's last couple weeks since the finale. There's been some crazy
Yeah,
on
like not to the level.
No,
of Star
Justin,
Wars,
I'm not gonna
but
lie.
to the
I'm not
level
gonna
of
lie.
Star
I'm not
Wars.
locked in. I'm not locked in with Doctor Who like that, but they are the only fandom I've ever seen complain about having good quality CGI. That is one thing I'll say, bro.
Doctor Who does not have good quality CGI.
Oh, what? No. Okay, guys. Okay,
Bro,
wait. 1 second.
This season, I saw everyone talking about, oh, they need to go back to the bad stuff. It was better when it was puppets and bad effects.
That was good
But
effects.
the
I'm
context
so
behind that
confused.
is that BBC put so much money into the production and the CGI that they
Of which
skipped out on the
series?
writing. So
Yeah,
that's the
that is-
issue
that
with
is
that.
it,
That's the
yeah.
context behind that.
That's
Guys,
just film in general now,
guys.
though.
I believe.
How about we save it for the Doctor Who episode? Whoa, that's coming up soon. Whoa, oh, we know who's coming to that one. Saf, I did
No,
say
no.
you can go quick first, and then let's make rounds of everyone else. So,
Okay,
TLDR.
so I don't think it's the most toxic fan base. Like I've seen more toxic fan bases, like the AEW fan base, for example. I think it's a case of just the Star Wars fan base is the loudest fan base. So that creates the conception of like they're the most toxic because like all you hear from the Star Wars fans are like the complainers, the grifters, or the people that complain like, "Oh, a woman woke," and like that creates the precedent that the Star Wars fan base is the most like toxic fan base because a lot of the chill fans they're a lot more quieter or like they're not as loud, and it doesn't help that like obviously Twitter and I'll leave it there.
Sorry.
It's a cesspool. It's not the most toxic. It's the loudest. I'll say that.
Interesting. Mid.
I'd
do you wanna
agree.
go?
There's also
sorry,
so
no,
much.
Lewis, you go?
Loudest. I was going to say there's so much content in the Star Wars universe as well. Where if you call yourself a Star Wars fan but then haven't seen X, Y, and Z, like proper big Star Wars fans will be like, "Whoa, like crazy work." But then it's just because there is so much additional levels. Like, we've had the games mentioned today. We've had so many TV shows, so many films. Whereas I feel like if someone says, "Oh, I've not seen Star Wars," that you go, "Oh," and leave it out. But then if someone's seen Star Wars but hasn't seen it all to the point where other fans have seen it yet they still call themselves a Star Wars fan, that's where those battles come into place. It can be there's almost like one of two levels. It either goes really extreme or really none. But I completely agree in terms of the fact that it's not the most toxic. I've seen some crazy ones, but yeah.
Fair enough. Mid, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree with stuff saying that it's probably the loudest in the detractors that are there because even like fan wise and stuff, and we could talk about like Star Wars fan. If we're talking like Star Wars fans, it's a pretty broad subject, especially because like we mentioned films, games. We haven't mentioned like anything like comics or books. Like there are fans of like the High Republic series who are calling that, who are singing the praise of that to high heaven and above. and they're like the most like some of like I think the most wholesome people I've seen. Like talk about their books as well. But there are definitely worse out there. Like again, well, not personally, but like I've seen different videos where they talk about certain fan bases, like not to throw shade, but My Academia, Snyder, for me, maybe Transformers a tiny bit. But there's like a lot of different fandoms we could point to and say they're toxic. I think Star Wars is just the loudest in because it's mainstream, and those who speak up are usually the loudest majority of us. Because I was not there when the harassment against the actors happened, is all I'm going to say.
Alright, guys, PSA, obvious PSA, don't attack your actors. The actors are not the character themselves. They did not, they did not grow up being a Jedi. They are not them, okay? They are not them, obviously. Justin, do you want to go?
I've got a question about the whole Lord of the Rings, because I think Star Wars is the most toxic, because has any of the actors for Lord of the Rings been harassed? Because apart from Marvel, so top of my head, I don't know any other actors from that show, from that franchise that have been attacked verbally online. I forgot her name, but the one that played is it Reva? The one in Obi-Wan? Yeah, like she got so much hate for just being cast, people calling her woke. No one had even seen the show yet. It's crazy. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think whenever you see like a black person or a woman, it's just automatic hate. I've not seen that in another. Actually, I have, but to that extent, I don't think so.
The Acolyte got so much hate because it had like a black main character in it.
That as well, yeah. Insane. Like
Casualty.
Or like
you wanna? Oh, sorry. One sec. Casualty. You go. I think.
Oh no, I was gonna say if the Acolyte has no fans, then I am dead, because I love the Acolyte so.
And I'm next to her. I'm like very next to her.
Because I remember we had one episode. Was it 1 or 2 that they released initially?
Two.
Yeah. The first 2 episodes out, the story was not fleshed out yet because we've just met the characters, and people already screaming in my ear, "But Darth Plagueis!" Only to see what at the end?
Yeah.
Even before the end.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So it was just kind of like, these are meant to be fans of the show, and they're not even giving fans of Star Wars, sorry, and they're not even giving time for the story to cook. But they would let the Clone Wars cook. And let that cook.
Acolyte was one of the most overhated projects I've ever witnessed in my whole life. Across fiction, Acolyte was one of the most immediately hated projects I've ever seen. Outrageous.
I'm almost certain at the Star Wars Celebration, there was already hate because it was a black woman as the main character. Like, I mean, that's nothing new with fandoms anyway. Like, I'm sure we all know that racism exists in every single fandom out there because people are just
there.
But when the I've lost my point. It's okay, guys. It will come back.
It'll come back. Okay, we'll come back.
Long story short, Amanda Stenberg, we love you.
One sec. Ellis is talking. Ellis, go.
I just said more of the story is Amanda Stenberg, we love you. Hit me up. Let's have a lightsaber duel, bro.
Heck yeah. Clem, Eli, do you want to go?
After hearing everyone chat, I think Star Wars definitely wins, but just because of the streak it has going, like the consecutive kind of barrage of hatement. Every single project that comes out, there is a dedicated group of haters that are gonna like hate on the actors, bro. Like Hayden Christensen got it, the kid that played Anakin got it, like bro, it's giving streaks. And then obviously, you know, the Moses Ingram hate got so bad. What's his face? He plays Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor had to literally take himself to Reddit to drop a video saying that this is too much. And then obviously, you know, the Acolyte got hatred, you know, the sequels got hatred for various reasons. You know, you had the people hating on John Boyega for being a black Jedi. You had the people hating on Rey for being a Mary Sue. Like, it gets to a point, like, you could argue with these other franchises that there are levels of, you know, toxic behavior. But when it goes for, like, the streaks, like, bar for bar, no one's seeing Star Wars.
I changed my answer. I agree. I think, yeah. Again, because there's also so much like that.
Also, Star Wars Outlaws got like a lot of hate because it had a woman as the main character, and then like you had everybody online going like, "Oh, she's so ugly," like, "Oh," and then like I don't understand the hate because it's a Ubisoft game, and that's a discussion for another time. but like they weren't hating the game because it was a Ubisoft game. They were hating it because they had the audacity to have a woman as the main character. And then also when Fallen Order got revealed, you had people like hating Cameron Monaghan as Cal. I do think half of it was joking though, because people were like, "Oh, why is he a ginger?" But then like you also had people basically saying it's like, "Oh, he's too boring as a main character," or like he's acting shit and like that.
Really? Damn.
I like enjoyed it. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, mate. Cal Kestis is one of the best.
Yeah, honestly, he's really good.
Let me add on as well. I just remember because I just remind me something. I am going to change my answer. Yeah, Star Wars is pretty toxic, and that's specific because when they do find something to hate, and if it's not anything to do with either race, the person, or the actor, they'll either go hating the director, either the writers, or they'll point to something that's typically in Star Wars, but will be like, oh, that's not scientifically possible. AKA, they mentioned fuel in episode 8. People complained about it. Fuel was mentioned multiple times throughout the series. They complained about fire being in the Acolyte. There was fire on every single ship that exploded. And not only that, you've got if we look back again to the prequels, when they released, because I talked about this with a friend of mine, there were people hating on George Lucas, and he handed over Star Wars to Disney because he got sick of the fans. So,
dang.
This is why Harrison Ford hates all the Star Wars fans.
I've remembered.
Oh yeah, you remember your point. Go ahead.
Circling back to what I was saying, I also don't know a fandom that like hates so much on something that it gets second series. There probably is. I just don't know it. But we'll get a TV show cancelled over nothing. Like just whataboutisms and this doesn't make sense, even though you've seen it happen before in all the bits of media. And mind you as well, the Acolyte had like people were complaining in things like Ahsoka how the choreography of fights was like clanky, things weren't moving as well, people were missing that. The Acolyte delivered. And
exactly. Yeah.
Wasn't enough. I thought, what? Oh, she bled the Kyber crystal and she wasn't touching it. She was like, come on. Like things will happen in front of Star Wars fans' eyes, and they'll be like, "No, this didn't happen the way I wanted it to." So I'm gonna hate on it till Bad Kingdom come.
But there's always something to pick up on. There's always something to hate on. Like, and for being from like an animation and CG background, you know, the amount of times I've seen, and you know, with working with Star Wars stuff as well, is there's a huge amount of people who want to pay respects to the originals by using like, you know, puppetry and using that whole original story making style that we grew up, like the whole franchise. And to be fair, CG in general, CG would not exist and VFX would not exist without Star Wars.
Yep.
And we don't pay respect enough to it, right? It does not work. And we try and pay respects to that for, you know, getting animatronics in there, getting mini models and going back to those original techniques. And people love it, but then if it's not done in something, it's hated. But then if the CG is not good enough, it's hated. Like there's no win in anything in that as well, and that's so frustrating as a filmmaker when seeing how much effort gets put into that to please those people. Yet one thing's wrong, so they try the other thing, and that's still wrong. So they go back again because that's what people were wanting, and it's consistently like this all the time, and it's disheartening.
At least Game of Thrones act like the last season doesn't exist. They just shut up and move on. This fandom, non-stop.
I want to just chime in because Clem said something that has been percolating on my mind for like 5 minutes. I've just been zoned out because in comparison, like we think that Marvel's toxic, but like at least there was like a good maybe 4 or 5 movie run where there were no like wild complaints. Like what they call like their peak Marvel, at least they were quiet for a time. But I don't think there's been a single film in the last 30 years to just be watched and enjoyed. Like even prequels, Anakin was getting so much hate, and it's only us that really got him back. Because let's stop acting like the press was not shredding and slating this guy for the whole of the 90s and 2000s, and it was only the early 10s. And now that he's been getting love, and that's us, because those unks was tearing him to bits. It was tearing him to bits. I can't think of one film right now. Like now that we're talking about streaks, I can't think about one film that I've seen just good press for when it came out. like literally any. Empire Strikes Back is the closest they got to having just a well-received film.
Rogue
and
One get like a lot of good press? Because I remember like it was just people praising it once it came out. I feel like that was a point where like a very small point where Star Wars fans were kind of happy for a bit.
Which one? Rogue One? Was that?
Yeah.
No, there was guys that said we didn't ask for it.
Guys, I'm gonna
But
have
then, even
to.
then-
Oh yeah, Ellis.
on.
No. Just Ellis, and then I'm gonna have to be the teacher and cut us off because we're running out of time. But Ellis, say what you want to say.
Even if Rogue One was received well, that means that they have a 1 in like 300 film success rate, bro. Because how many films did that film only came out like a couple years ago, and they've been, huh?
Almost 10.
Yeah.
Rogue
2016,
One was
innit?
10 years ago.
Technically 9.
Damn, that's so.
It's almost 10 years ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so many.
Whoa!
Yeah, 2016.
Whoa!
And we've had a lot of scrap projects.
Kat, are we
since then,
getting
by the way.
old?
Yeah.
Whoa!
Says the youngest person here.
You were
I was 13. I wasn't allowed to go watch it.
Wow, bro.
That's
Because-
crazy.
9 years ago.
Wait, in when?
2016.
Yeah.
But how could you be 13? You're 20.
I'm only 20 years old.
Yeah, I'm 25. So you weren't. I was 16 in 2016.
I wasn't 16 at this point.
So you're
I cannot.
you're still
I'm a
you're still in primary school.
And with that, I'm guessing the consensus. What is? I'm gonna go quickly, just a roundabout. So, mid, yes or no?
Yes, we're Star Wars fans are a very toxic bunch.
Ooh, geeks.
Yes.
See, yeah.
Yeah. Casualty.
Yep.
Justin.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Soph.
Yeah, they are pretty toxic. Yeah.
Ellis.
Hey, bro. Crazy work. Crazy community.
And with that, let me quickly just move it back to everybody else and not just me. But I want to say thank you to everybody here that has arrived with us today. Don't forget to follow their socials. They will be in the descriptions, the multiple description, and all of the other reels that we'll be making from it. Yeah, just big shout out everyone that's come today. And 3 things I want to say before we finish. Number 1, buy Razor. Number 2, number 2.
No, number 2 is also by Razor.
Number 2 is also by Razor.
Yeah.
Number 3, also by Razor. And number 4, Jar Jar Binks is actually, yeah, he has Palpatine. I'm joking. Anyway. Anyway. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. I will be changing the scene, so thank you so much, guys, for coming. See you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette. Yeah. Ride around the city with a stick all black. Try with a stroke, but we ain't with all that. $8 million and I can't go back. Got a lot of jewelry on me, man, you can't hold that. 12 asking better, tell him that I ain't so crack. Know your money long when your people can't afford that. I'm ballin', yeah. My mama told me that did my calling. I keep that stick, I don't do no brawling. Open out the doors and let them all in here. Yeah, they all in here. Ooh, big dog. We come out the pound, so we big dog. Heavy paddock on it, break my wrist off. I'm young out of rocket, by the lid dog. 3, 2, 1, I got big dog status, I'm a big dog vet.